it's Tressa. Hope you're doing well today. Well, today I want to bring a recipe to you that I've only made one time, but they weren't perfectly beautiful, but they were nice. But Kaiser rolls, and I got the recipe from Debbie's Back Porch. She's one of my favorite channels, and she can bake any kind of bread you ask for. But anyway, it's her recipe that I'm going to use, and I'm going to weigh my ingredients, and hopefully my dough will come out. You know, the weather affects it. All those things affect your consistency. But hopefully if I weigh it out, it'll come out nice and smooth like I did last time. And you have to roll it into a rope and then tie it into a knot. And that's when I run into a little trouble. I get impatient. But anyway, they came out nice. And we ate ham and Swiss sandwiches on them all week. It was just delicious texture and very good for sandwiches. I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet, but I just wanted to bring you the recipe. So let's get back to say that you can use this recipe for a loaf, or I might make some, if I get tired of trying to time it or not, I might make some hamburger buns out of them. But I just wanted to tell you that. I hope you can see this. I'm still trying to learn how to use a tripod with my cabinets. They're in the way. So I have 10 ounces of warm water, and I'm going to add a scant tablespoon of instant yeast, and I keep my yeast in the freezer. I'm gonna use about that much. This is a new package, so it should be fine. And the recipe calls for 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, but I like to add 3 because I like just a tiny touch of sugar with mine. And this is just regular sugar. I have a little organic sugar mixed in, but it's at the bottom. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons. Put the sugar up. And we're going to whisk this. And I could have just done this in my mixing bowl, but I wanted to do it so you could see. So we're going to just mix this around and set this to the side. I'm going to move it actually on this side by the mixer. Okay, and now we're going to take, here's my scale. It's just a scale I got from Walmart, but I found that if I weigh the flour, it comes out better. So you need 3 1/4 cup of bread flour or 500 grams. So I'm gonna do 500 grams. I'm gonna zero out my scale. And this is King Arthur bread flour. It's just the one I preferred. I used to get Bob's Red Mill bread flour. It was my favorite, but the Market Basket where I got it quit carrying it about a year ago, and if you order it online, it's like outrageously expensive, and King Arthur bread flour is plenty good enough. I'm not going to pay that much for the bread flour. So if we went 500 grams, I'm getting close. Oops, I went over. So take a little bit out. Oh, I want it to be exact. One more. Come on, there we go. 500 grams. And when we mix, we're gonna hold back a little bit of the flour. I'll show you. We're gonna add the butter, and then we might add some more flour. So let's put this aside. And to the flour, we're going to add, okay, we added our yeast to the water. This is, I don't even know if I can pronounce it correctly. It is an ingredient that I get from Amazon. It's dry malt diastatic powder. And it just helps your bread rise a little bit better, brown a little bit better. I think it makes a better texture, but you do not have to have this to make bread at all. I just decided to order it because I was making croissants and I learned about it from Joy of Baking. So I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of this. And you know, I don't level it off and all of that. I just grab a teaspoon. And another thing that I'm gonna add is, I put it in this little jar is, I thought I had where's my label? Probably can't read it. It's Vital Wheat Gluten. And I find, I'm just gonna add a couple of teaspoons, sorry. I find this makes my bread last a little bit longer. I just like the way it makes my bread come out, and I don't use it all the time. I've been having this one for quite some time, and it's not expensive. And then we're gonna add salt. I think I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons. And I like to mix my salt. I have kosher salt and Himalayan pink salt, but you can use whatever salt you want. It doesn't really matter. So let's give this a mix. And the only other ingredients we're going to need is 1 egg for the egg wash and some sesame seeds, which are optional. So I like to mix that in, make sure it's all mixed together. Let's put this away. I like to clean up as I go. I still didn't fix this drawer, as you can tell. Okay, so let's move over to the mixer and we'll get it going. Okay, you can see my yeast is, see how nice and bubbly that is? So we're just gonna go ahead and pour this in. I've only made these one time. I hope I remember. I only wrote down the ingredients. I hope I remember the method. I'm trying to get all the stuff out of the cup. Okay. And I also have 2 tablespoons of softened butter. So now I'm just going to add, first I'm going to put my dough hook on. And you can do this by hand too. I'm not very good at kneading by hand, to be honest with you. So I'm going to add 2 cups. And then I'm going to start mixing this in. I'll probably have to scrape down my bowl. But so you don't have to listen to my mixer because it's quite loud. I will bring it in pretty well. I'm just going to scrape the side just a little bit. It did pretty good on its own. But I'm just going to clean off the sides of it. And now I'm going to, oops, I just dropped one on the floor. And now I'm going to add all of it. But I'm going to hold back about 1/2 cup. So let's see how much this is. If I can get it to pour in here. Oh, well, that's about 1/2 cup. I can tell. Oh, that's my oven. Okay, now I'm going to start mixing this. And then I'll show you what it looks like when we add the butter. Bring you back and show you that I definitely have to scrape the bowl. You don't always have to. It just depends, really. And it's kind of a little bit warm and humid here today, so I hope the recipe comes out the same. But, you know, you can always adjust your ingredients to get the right consistency. Okay, let's bring this back up. I'm going to mix this in, and I'll show you what it'll be. That it's pretty sticky today, but we're going to go ahead and add the, I have been dropping everything today. I'm going to add the butter in kind of like pieces. And now the dough's going to look like it's going to separate a little bit, but you just keep mixing it. And we'll probably need the rest of this flour because it's pretty sticky. And the butter just gives it a good flavor. And I like to use salted butter, but you can use whatever kind you like. Okay, let me mix this in and then I'll show you the consistency in a second. See, it's pretty sticky and kind of gloopy looking. So I'm going to add the rest of this 1/2 cup of flour. Sorry, I'm blocking your view. Let me move this dough here. Throw that in there. And then once I get it to the consistency that I like, I am going to knead it for about 4 to 5 minutes. So let's see how this turns out. Hopefully I didn't add too much. You know, some days it's just like, I shouldn't be cooking today. You ever had those days? Hopefully it's not one of those days for me. Come on, I want it to come together nicely. Turn it up a little bit. There we go. This dough is a pretty soft, pillowy dough. That's what I'm going for anyway. And it's coming together. So it's coming together and it's cleaning the sides of the bowl. So now I'm going to turn you off and I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes and I'm going to knead it probably about on speed 2 or 3. And then we'll bring, then I'll bring, see how it's cleaning the sides of the bowl really nicely? Now I want to feel it. See, it's a little tiny bit sticky, but it's not really sticking to my finger. So I think it's coming out just right. So I'm very excited. So I'm going to continue kneading and then I'll be back. See, but look how it cleaned the sides of my bowl really, really good. It might be a tiny bit sticky, but I think it's, and I sprayed this bowl. Just put a little on your fingers and then just get all the dough off that you can. Oh yeah, this feels great. And this recipe makes about six buns, good size buns. And you could do the window pane test to make sure it's kneaded, but I never do that. But see, look, that looks really nice, soft, pillowy. So I'm going to put it in this bowl, and I'm going to spray it a little bit with my spray. And I usually put it in my oven that I turn on for like a second. But I've had to bake some cookies in there, so it's too hot. So it's a little bit warm up here. So I'm just going to let it rise up here. It may take 45 minutes. It may take an hour. It may take an hour and a half. But once it's doubled in size, you know it's ready. One, I didn't do very well with that. So that's good. As long as it's covered. And look at it now. And then I'll show you when it's doubled in size. My dough rise for 1 hour. Really because I got sidetracked. But this is the dough. Look at that. It's just so nice. This is such a great recipe. I put just a little bit of flour on my mat. And if you ever want to buy these mats, don't buy this kind because it slides all over the place. But see how it's really soft? So I'm going to put it on here. I don't want to put too much flour. I'm just going to get the air out. Flip it over. Just kind of press it down. And I didn't make a very good way to divide this. We're going to try to divide this. Should I go this way, Ella?
Yeah.
Into 6 pieces. And you can measure, you can weigh them if you want to make sure they're the exact same size. Or you can just, eyeball it. I can already tell I'm a little bit off on this side. So I'm just going to pinch a little bit off of these and put it over here. I think this one's okay. And I'm going to take this and then we're just going to roll these into a ball. And after we do this, we're going to let them rest for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to shape them. See how soft it is?
Mm-hmm. Feels like skin.
It's just really soft. I'm not very good at making the balls, but I try. And like I said, you can make Kaiser rolls, you can make hamburger buns, you could probably make this out of a loaf bread. And you can roll it around on the mat like this to make a perfect ball, but I don't do that.
Why do you have to make them into a ball before you stretch them out and twist them?
I don't know. It's just what I just learned it that way.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna.
They taste good, so.
And you can also make this into 8 smaller ones if you want. But I'm just gonna make 6. Put this bowl in the sink, Ella. So here's our dough balls. And then we're gonna let them rest. I'm gonna cover them with a tea towel. I'm gonna let them rest for about 10 minutes and then we'll be back. Pressure to the camera, look what Ella did. It's almost perfect. You just want to stretch it out just a little bit. And we're going to put this on the pan right here, like this. See, I have one that's way bigger than the other. But I'm going to put my tea towel over them. And then before we bake them, we're going to egg wash them and put these on them. I have these sesame seeds. So I'm going to let these rise as long as I can. I'm going to put them in a warm spot. Tressa, I wanted to say that I was inspired to do the Project Pantry video by Mandy from More to Life, Heather at the Needy Homesteader, and Lisa from Sutton's Days. They always inspire me, and I definitely wanted to get on board with this Project Pantry thing. I think it's amazing to do this, and I'd like to just share with everybody the way I store my pantry items. But anyway, I just wanted to thank the ladies and for inspiring all of us. Okay, here's the rolls. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little short on time today. I might have to take my husband to the doctor when he gets home from work. So I'm going to go ahead and brush these with the egg wash. It's just an egg beaten with a tablespoon of water. And you just want to brush them lightly. I like to make sure I coat all sides. And, you know, we did a better job the first time folding them. I actually posted a picture of them on Instagram, and they came out better than these. But these are going to be delicious. The texture is going to be right on, and they're going to make great sandwiches. And they look decent enough. Now, would I say these are the best Kaiser rolls you've ever seen? No. We need practice folding them. I just might buy that little attachment. I'll call it an attachment. I don't really know what you call it. But I do like to make sure you do the egg wash. And also the egg wash helps the sesame seeds stick on. But you know, you never use all your egg wash when you have one. But you could save it for another project. I think I got everywhere. So we're going to take the sesame seeds. I just like the sesame seeds, the way they look. And these are actually roasted. But we're going to put these in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes. And then I'll show you right out of the oven. I covered it so I could keep it warm. Because my husband got a phone call on my phone, which is what I film with. But if you want to make sure that your bread is cooked, I'm going to pick the biggest one. And you want to check the internal temperature, and you want it to reach about 195 to 200. Mine's well over 200. See that it's 200. And so they're cooked. And you want to let them cool down to, I like to let them cool down to room temperature, because if you cut them when they're hot, then they kind of dry out. But I do like to cover them with the tea towel. But aren't they pretty? They came out better than I expected. I'm just really excited. I mean, that's going to be... Look at that. Look at the bottom. That's just going to be a great sandwich. Okay. We'll be back if we do a taste test, I'll be back. Oh, just wanted to show you we made a sandwich, and we're going to show you the inside of the what's it called again?
Kaiser
the
roll.
Kaiser roll. It's soft and tender. This is a beautiful dough. I hope you try this recipe, and let me know if you do. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more recipes, and it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.